Hey everyone, welcome again to another 360 Timmy. So we're approaching the end of the first month of the new year. You started with lots of goals, but how many challenges have you abandoned already? In this episode, I'm featuring those who have successfully challenged themselves and keep going, making some big manoeuvres. First of all, how many of us have had a driving license for years, but then one day you're asked to tow something? I'm sure it's a yes, I can do it answer. But when it comes to it, it's an unmitigating disaster. Fear not, for all things driving caravans, for trailers and for motorhomes, you need to watch the Trailer Lady.
Hi, welcome to Fliss's Driver Training YouTube channel. I'm Fliss, aka the Trailer Lady, and I've been a driving instructor for the past 13 years. More recently, I've specialised in caravans, motorhomes and trailer training. The purpose of this channel is to create a learning resource for anybody who has been on one of our courses, but it's also there for people who'd like to have a go on their own. I'm always available if you've got any questions, so do get in touch if I can help you in any way.
Fliss is an accomplished driving instructor who turned her hand to helping people who are towing trailers, considering buying a motorhome or caravans. It's a skill, take it from me, that takes some mastering if you're trying to teach yourself. If only I had the Trailer Lady, that time I had to take a trailer to the tip.
Today I'm going to show you how you couple a caravan to a car. So we're going to start off with the breakaway cable. So the breakaway cable is a legal requirement if you have a braked trailer, okay, or caravan. So the breakaway cable is attached to the bottom of the handbrake and it needs to clip directly onto the car. So I have a clip underneath there and I'm just checking that that is on. So I'm happy with that. The next thing we've got to do is we've now got to lower the hitch of the caravan onto the tow ball. So we use the jockey wheel and we wind the caravan down, the hitch head down, so that it goes onto the tow ball. And this is going to drop and it makes a really nice satisfying clunk. Now what we need to do though is check that that is on. Just because we've heard that clonk and there is a red button that pops up as well, we don't trust it. So what we do is we rewind so that you can see the rear of the car being lifted by the caravan. Okay, I've probably gone a bit too far there, but what I'm trying to do is demonstrate to you the importance of this. That's confirming that this is coupled 100% and it is not coming off. So you will never get campsite shame where you go over the last speed bump on the way out and your caravan falls off.
If you want face-to-face advice and you're in the UK, Fliss is also going to be talking at the Caravan, Camping and Motorhome Show at the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham on the 13th to the 18th of February 2024. Check out the Trailer Lady website for more details. Another tricky manoeuvre is to put yourself out there, either on the stage or screen or both. And if you think of the internet and social media, loads of outlets. Now in the summer, I talked to Abi Orfila about her journey to becoming a singer and recording artist.
Gosh, I was involved in a lot of like amateur local productions. So my first audition was for Annie for FODS, and I was about 5 years old. So back in 2000 was my first audition.
And FODS is a local amateur dramatics here in Folkestone.
That's it, yeah.
Yep.
So that's how I started, and I kind of got into it like that, and then started to go into piano lessons when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I kind of grew from that. And then I started taking like music GCSEs. I did like a lot of school amateur productions as well, which I absolutely loved, and I kind of fell in love with like music theatre first, and that's kind of where my journey started.
So what was your school?
So I went to St Edmunds in Dover.
Yep.
And it was a performing arts school, and then I went to the Folkestone Academy for my A-levels, and I also went to my primary school with Stella Maris. So yeah, that's where my schools were. But I also did like other amateur production arts, which was like Blackfish Arts Academy outside of school, and that's where my training kind of came from that. And yeah, so I've been around.
And so
yeah.
your style is country rock?
Yeah, now
Yeah.
I kind of went through a really long journey torn between musical theatre and country rock, and I was in a band with my older brother and my older sister, and we kind of grew into like a folky country pop group. And then by the time our second album and our EP came about, we were like, let's try country rock.
It's quite a thing to go on stage with your family as a group, but then to make the switch to solo is quite daunting. Abi talks about this challenge and the creative boost it can provide.
We'd had just said as a band that we weren't going to continue as a trio.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, so I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I tried to get all my resources, and it kind of just came from that, you know, like, here I come, me on my own, and you know, I'm going to try and do this as best as I can, and hopefully people can relate to that, and yeah, just kind of get on board with what I'm trying to say, you know, through music. So yeah, that's all I really hope for.
So how does that creative process come about then? So do you write the lyrics and then you work with someone on the music side of things, or do you do the whole thing?
For the songs that I've released so far, the 3 songs that I've released, I've written all myself, like melody line, lyrics, structure, and then when I go into a studio, that's when we start to like get the drums and the produce and the product kind of starts to come alive.
Yeah.
So yeah, so A Million Lies was my first release, and that just kind of came about spare of the moment, but I always try and brush up the lyrics before I get into the studio, just if there's anything not quite sure on that I want it to be like, you know, as close as it can be before you get into the studio, because yeah, you don't want to be kind of wasting time on the lyrics. So.
Now, it's always a challenge to balance creativity with work. Abi's found an interesting way to perform a very unique venue. How did the gig at Eurotunnel come about then? One minute you're checking passports.
1 minute
so
I'm singing.
You'll be a very familiar face to people going through Folkestone.
Well, I don't know about that one, but yeah, no. My friend was singing on the stage one day, and I just went up to her and I said, "Oh my God, hi! Like, you know, who do I get in contact with?" And she very kindly gave me the contacts for the offices, which I should have already had because I was there for a long time, but I just didn't really click. I just didn't really seize the moment, I suppose, before. And Georgie, my friend Georgie, she very kindly just said, "This is who you need to contact," and that was it. And yeah, that's kind of, I've only been doing it for about well, just under a year now.
So what times of the day do you perform, or is it key points when tourism's quite high going through the terminal?
Yeah, so if they've got figures or anything like that they know that they're going to have like busy periods or anything like that, then they try and get us to fit around that schedule. Most mornings is kind of busy anyway, so I'd say our earliest that we start is either 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, that is an early gig for a voice to wake up that early.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, really. But I get up for 6 o'clock to do passports as well, so I kind of just think it's the norm.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's comedy. Comedy has its foundations in real life struggles or life events, and it can certainly lighten the load. Here is Sam Serrano talking about how he takes his life struggles and brings them up on stage.
Like when you start comedy, you kind of just talk about what you know. And so I wanted to talk about being queer and having learning difficulties and all that kind of stuff. And I think it was just like the kind of comedy I liked growing up was self-deprecation. So I kind of, when you're starting comedy, you watch a lot of the people you love and you go, all right, I want to do that. So I'd watch people like Sam Amstel, who's like one of my favorite comics. And yeah, a lot of his stuff is self-deprecating. So just like, that's what I want to do. I want to give that a go. And then there's a lot of people who kind of, as they carry on, kind of go away from that. But yeah, it's just kind of a style that I really enjoy doing, the style I really enjoy watching.
You have to be a multitasker in this day and age, manoeuvring the world of social media to generate interest in your act.
Yeah, I gig, it pretty much is gigging, writing, and then obviously adds the clips up for social media, which is now like a huge part of the job.
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah, we were talking before this, weren't we, about older comics who don't have to do that, but everyone now, all artists, singers, comedians, actors, that they're all having to do their own social media at the start for sure. Yeah. And there's so many platforms you have to get it on and the format.
Yeah.
Can you get the recording from the gig you were talking earlier about?
Yeah, the amount of times that I've gone on stage and like a heckle's happened and I've come off and they've gone, "Oh, the file's corrupted, you can't have it." And you're like, "Oh, that could have made my career." Yeah, so
That viral clip.
yeah,
Yep.
and you're like, we're never getting it.
Sam also has a new podcast, Turn the Frog Pod, and a comedy special, Beautifully Unconventional, available on his YouTube channel.
Don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Hello, welcome to episode 3 of the Turn the Frogs pod with me, Sam Serrano. How are you doing? Hope you're good, hope you're well, hope everything's going alright. Let's start with the good old self-promotion. Comedy special is out, completely free for you to go watch on YouTube. If you are watching the podcast on YouTube, then just go to my channel. It's called Beautifully Unconventional. It's really good. I'm really proud of it. I think you'd really like it.
Beautiful, how are we doing? You alright? Beautiful stuff. Thank you so much for coming. It's lovely to be back. I've been away for a bit. I went to the Edinburgh Fringe. Yeah, the best way to lose a lot of money. I got fucked over by accommodation this year. I did. I paid $1,500 for an Airbnb. Yeah, and I thought the guy was going to be out of the house. I paid $1,500 to live with a man for a month. And he rang me before the Fringe and he went, Sam, I want you to know I'm not alright with you bringing girls back to the flat. And I said, that won't be a problem.
That's all we've got time for in this episode. If you want to get hold of me, please reach out at 360timmy.com. Please like and subscribe, it really does help the channel. And you have a super day.